So one time I was hiking in the Tetons. We heard there were bears in the area. You know, in passing, the ranger said, "Oh, there's probably some bears up at such and such lake, Emerald Lake." So we get to Emerald Lake and we're in the forest before and we're looking around and no big deal. And we're chatting it up. There's 4 of us. And I look behind me and Nate is behind me on the trail. We're really enjoying the beautiful pine trees. And there's something behind him. And I look behind him. I'm like, "Hey, that's a bear. That's a bear cub. Hey, Nate, there's a bear cub following you." And he looks behind him and says, "Whoa!" And he starts jogging. And I see the bear cub look up at him and starts jogging along behind him. So I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible. I've seen those movies where the mom pops out of the forest and mauls whoever's trying to mess with her kids, right?" So I alert the other 2. All 3 of us are all 4 of us are hauling up the trail as fast as we can. We outrun the bear because he doesn't have as much stamina as we do. And then we look to the right and there's a bear in the woods like 50 feet away. And we look to the left and there's 2 bears like 20 feet away. And we're like, "Oh my gosh, this place is infested." And I got my tactical brain on and I'm like, "You guys, we can be attacked by these vicious bears from any direction right now. We need a stronghold." So I look out and there's this open field with these huge rocks and there's a massive boulder in the middle of it, house-sized boulder. And there's only one way up it. So I'm like, "You guys, let's go over there now." So we run over there. And by this time, they're probably looking at me like, "Wow, he's really into this." So we run up that thing and scale one side of it. And then all 4 of us are on this flat rock and we can survey the area. And I'm like, "Okay, you guys, I got my ice tools, my hammer right here. So if a bear starts to climb up here, we can whack them in the nose before they can get to us." Okay, and we can hold out here for a while. We have food. So we're on this sunny ledge in this beautiful mountain area, and we're completely surrounded by bears. And I'm trying to get my head together. I'm like, "Okay, what do I know about bears? What do I know about bears?" Okay, there's 2 things that I know about bears for sure, right? One of them is that if you have to run away, you run downhill. And if you can't run away, you climb a tree. So right as I'm putting that together, I look across and there's this really steep hill, probably a 45-degree angle. And I see this bear tearing down this hill like as fast as a sports car. This thing flew down the hill at least 30 miles an hour is my guess. And I'm like, "Okay, that doesn't make any sense, but I just witnessed it." The short arms on the front of the bear is a myth. They can run downhill faster than you. There's no way you could outrun them. So that only leaves a tree. And I hear this crackling and I look up to the other side and it looks like there's a monkey in this tree. He's way up on this branch. And he's out there on this little branch that there's no way I would feel comfortable standing on. So you can forget climbing a tree to get away from bears. You're not going to do it. They're going to outclimb you. They're going to outrun you. They have claws built into their hands. So you don't have any hope with bears. So what we decided to do is we would kind of rally together. We climbed down the thing and went through the forest back to back with our ice tools out so we'd have a fighting chance. And the crazy thing is, there was only like 200 more yards of forest to get out, and then we could have gone off and done our hike and stuff. So that was a funny bear story, and the lesson learned from there is don't believe everything you read. Don't believe everything you hear about bears. Hey, I'm Jared. I'm the Lone Guide. So I really like helping people. And I have a lot of experience with adventures. I've done hundreds of adventures. Every adventure always has something go wrong. And getting alone is really similar to that. There's some kind of obstacle. What the guide does is helps you get over, around, or through those obstacles. Some people call them a lone officer. I prefer lone guide because that's really what we're doing, is we're taking you from your desire to have a loan all the way to closing your loan. First, I simplify the process. Second, I make house calls. And third, I really do have the best rates. We actually negotiate with the bank. We can loan the bank's money for cheaper than they do. We don't have the overhead. So give me a call. Let me be your loan guide.